feel like that transition is happening?
Absolutely. More so than the spring and the summer, with just all the issues that come up that you have to take care of, that sometimes that Coach Hurd got to take care of those things. And so I focused more on either recruiting or developing our basketball team. And so, yeah, so as those things come up every day, it reminds you every day that when you get a text or a phone call. So absolutely.
One follow-up. I just sense the times I've talked to you that, you know, it's a work in progress, your team, but you genuinely like this group that you're coaching. What do you like about coaching them?
They're great young ladies. We've got a bunch of great kids, and I keep saying the strength of our team is our team. And while we graduated two of the best players that have played here in Ivy Brown and Tasia Brown, and we've got a great group of young ladies coming back, any one of them might step up and do something like Ivy Brown or Tasia Brown did last year. I don't know that we have one player just yet ready to take on some of those roles solely, but I think that's the strength of our team, is that maybe one night it might be Raneem, maybe one night it might be Whitney Creech, maybe one night it might be Alexis Brewer or Dee Gibbons. So I think there's a number of players that can step up and fill those roles.
Coach, how excited are you to finally get out there and see your players play against someone other than their own teammates?
I think they're more excited than I am because they're tired of hearing me. I think they want to play against somebody else. They're tired of playing against probably our scout team, and because I bribe our scout team to, if the game gets too close, I'll bribe our scout team guys with milkshakes or pizza or whatever I got to do to raise it up a little bit. I'll tell them, say, hey, you're only up 5. I said, if you beat them by 20, I'll get pizza for you. And so the girls are tired of that. They're probably ready to play somebody that's not going to get bribed on the other end by me. So I'm looking forward to it. Our schedule is really tough. I know last year, I've mentioned before, our strength of schedule was 50. We had a 54th in the country strength of schedule, and I would expect this year's schedule to be even stronger than that. Obviously, we don't know that yet, but opening up with Louisville and then playing Oklahoma and then Iowa and Central Michigan, those are just the first 4. And then we're still going to play Little Rock, I believe, was just picked number 1 in their conference, and they won their conference last year and went to the NCAA tournament. And then we also still play Notre Dame, and then we're going to play Oregon State again when we get up to Vancouver. So and that doesn't. There's still a bunch of other good teams in there, Ball State, and so who we got handled by last year at their place. So this schedule is really tough and challenging. I think it'll help us to get ready for the conference tournament. It'll help give us what we need, which is experience. And we've got good players, we've got a good team, we've got great young ladies. We just need some experience, and this is going to give it to us quickly.
In the past couple of months, as you sort of really amped up practices, really just trying to condition and get ready for the season, where have you seen the biggest strides?
Our biggest improvement has been on sharing the ball. Last year we ran a lot of things, obviously through Ivy and through Tasia, and so this year we worked a lot on making sure the ball gets distributed. You're moving the ball, not holding the ball. We're trying to get the ball out more quickly and get down the floor quickly, get into our offense more quickly. So I think those have been the biggest improvements. A change from last year, I think we returned some kids that can shoot the ball. Sydney Bopp shoots the ball really well. Dee Gibbons shoots the ball really well. Alexis Brewer led the Big 12 in three-point field goal percentage, and then there might be a couple of surprises in there. And so I think overall we've got some kids that can shoot. Now, as you know, shooting's pretty fickle. It depends on what nights you're playing, whether that's working for you or working against you. So we still work hard on our defense and work on executing our offense as well. But those are probably the biggest areas that I've seen the most improvement.
Who stepped up as a leader?
I think the two in particular, Alexis Brewer and Whitney Creech, and Whit really shows that leadership on the floor, wanting the ball in her hands, kind of making sure she's leading the team. And then Alexis is also in those game situations, wants to be in that situation. And you can drill, you can practice, you can do workouts, but you still can't teach somebody to want to be in that spot. And those two young ladies like that situation. And then Alexis also off the court really kind of rallies the team together. So we have good team chemistry, which is important for any team.
How versatile has Whitney become as, you know, obviously a prolific scorer, what she's known for, but then just taking that point guard role last year and just learning just a different role in general. So how much versatile is she now going into this?
Well, I don't think she's any more versatile than she ever was. I think we're trying to just get her to be Whitney Creech. Just play the way you know how to play, and less thinking about what you're supposed to do, and just play the game. And that's where maybe she's just getting more comfortable in that role. And so I don't know that she's added versatility. Maybe she just was playing a little bit more restrained, trying to make sure she was doing the right thing. And now she just feels a little more confident. And so she's the one that wants to go get the ball and make that play. Is she perfect? No, she makes mistakes, but now she bounces back real quickly, and she takes coaching great. Like the kid wants to be great. So we're glad to have her for 2 more years.
You sort of see her holding on to that role, point guard, and just really, you mentioned she's the leader on the floor, so she's going to take that role, I guess, again going into this year, just that one.
I think right now she's one of the positive things about what we're doing, how we play, how we've played in the past is, with the exception of perhaps somewhat last year, you have a point guard, but we didn't have to have a point guard to initiate the offense. With what we do, any of those guards can start to play. And that gives us some versatility as a team. It takes some pressure off of a point guard. It makes it a little bit more difficult to take one point guard out of the play and disrupt your offense. So Whitney still does that for us. She's probably the primary ball handler in those situations, but she's not the only one. We got Sherry Porter can handle the ball well. Alexis Brewer can handle the ball. So we've got Sydney Bopp can handle the ball. So we've got we've got several players that can step in there and do that job.
You mentioned a few other players, but if there is a player now that people don't really know about yet, but towards the end of the season they might be one of those impact players. Like 2 years ago, they mentioned it was Sydney Bopp. Is there a player right now that, towards the end of the season?
I think we've got a couple that are poised for that opportunity. We've got a freshman, Meryl Abdigawad. I probably didn't say it. We call her Miru, just like we call Raneem Nemo. I think Meryl's in a position where, as she learns more about American-style basketball, she'll become increasingly more effective and more efficient. She's got that opportunity ahead of her. I think Sherry Porter has grown in her confidence as well. She has good speed. She's improved her shooting efficiency, and her confidence. So I think she's also in that position. And then I think Raneem, even though she was freshman of the year last year, I think we just saw the tip of what she's able to do and how she can impact the game. And so she's still growing and improving as well. I think she's also one that will become more impactful as the season goes.
Coach, in past seasons, this team has been picked to win the conference and kind of had a target on their back. But to not have that this year and kind of not have that pressure, is that a good thing, especially when you have a younger team?
Well, I think I just mentioned earlier that we were picked 4th, and in a lot of ways that's a compliment because we graduated, a lot of points and a lot of rebounds, a lot of experience, a lot of leadership, and a lot of that went out the door when Ivy and Tasia graduated. Not that the young ladies we have here can't do that. They can. They just haven't done it yet. And so for the conference to still pick us 4th, I think that's just a big vote of confidence for our girls. It's really about respect, about the players that we've had here and kind of the winning tradition that we've built on. So I don't really look at it as a target on the back or an insult to me. I think it's a compliment, and now we have to go out there and prove that we've earned that spot. And if we want anything more than that, we've got to earn that as well.
More on Meryl, just the way that she's able to come in. We know what Raneem did just right off the bat, getting adjusted to American ball, but just where do you see Meryl coming in and having her impact immediately, I guess?
She was a point guard in Egypt. She's got good size. She's aggressive. She attacks the basket really well. She can shoot the ball from the perimeter. Right now, her learning curve is very steep. She's learning every day. You see improvement. She's a different player today than she was last week, than she was 3 weeks ago. I see her helping us in a variety of ways. Defensively, she'll help us. Rebounding, she'll help us with the pace of the game. She'll help with being able to attack the basket. I think she'll help in a variety. She's still learning just the nuances, the little differences between playing international ball and American basketball. It'll happen quickly. I think she'll learn as soon as we get out there and the lights come on and she starts playing and makes some mistakes and plays through some mistakes, earn some confidence from her teammates and within herself that this is where she can be highly successful. I think she'll blossom.
You spoke a little bit, Coach, about kind of your team kind of coming together. How would you describe their progression from the offseason until now as far as playing together, playing as a team? Because like you said, there are some returning players, but there's also lots of new faces as well.
Well, I think they're starting to fill in. They're starting to get more comfortable within the roles. During the spring and the summer, you do a lot of individual workouts, a lot of small group workouts, and now we're doing a lot more teamwork, obviously. And so I think they're getting more comfortable with who's going to be where and who's kind of wants the ball when and what positions and the timing of playing with different players. You can, Raheem and Jaleesa are both post players, but they're still different, and they're different in the amount of time that they cover from here to there, or how long they can post up, and where they can catch the ball, and how they. And so all that's a learning curve. So we've added some new faces, some people taking on some different roles, but that's really been the growth since we've returned to school. Is they're just becoming more comfortable as a team, as a unit, and not just on the court, but also off the court. I mean, they still hang out now. Now they got study hall together. Now they got morning workouts together, and so they're growing, and that's what happens when you have two seniors to graduate and leave. Those things have to take a little time. It's not going to happen overnight.
D. Gibbons last year was really effective just off the bench whenever things were needed. Did you sort of see her sustaining that role, or you got her on the floor the whole time, maybe in the starting role now?
I'll tell you the same thing I tell the players. The five they're going to play are the five that play the hardest. And so I don't care if you were Sixth Man of the Year or Freshman of the Year, or if you led the Big 12, it doesn't matter. If you're not playing hard, we're going to play somebody else. And so right now they're competing with each other for those opportunities to play. And it's not so much who starts as it is who finishes. Who's on the court when the game's being decided is way more important than the first five on the floor. So that role will still be determined, but Dee is certainly able and capable of being in that starting role. She has worked hard in the offseason. She's improved her strength, her conditioning, her toughness. She's still a great shooter. There's still other areas of her game that she's working on. I would always brag and tease Dee to the team and say, because one time a game, Dee would make one spectacular. That was a great thing. She'd fly in and make a spectacular rebound. And I said, and the bad thing is, one time a game, Dee would fly in and make a spectacular rebound. I said, we need her to go do that throughout the whole game. And so, and that's something she's worked on, being more consistent in her effort on the floor. And so, I think you'll see that when we get to game time.
Where's Kayla Smith's role sort of with this team? Just obviously limited being able to play, but I guess just as a locker room presence, what is it that she's having to adjust to?
And that's a good question, because this isn't Kayla didn't envision this being her career and her basketball career and how this was going to turn out, but she's been positive in encouraging her teammates, her friends, on and off the floor. She's involved in practice every day. She keeps charts and stats, and then I even talked to her about her role on the bench during the game. She's going to help, even with the freshmen and sophomores, helping them to understand and see things as it happens on the floor. Because I might have Miles on the floor, other coaches, so she might see something and be able to talk to. Maybe when Merrill sits down, she might be able to explain something to Merrill. Said, you need to see this next time you go out. And so she's involved every day with our team, and not in the role that maybe she envisioned herself as a freshman and a sophomore, but she's still making the best that she can of this opportunity, and we're glad that she's on the team and still part of it.
Greg, just in case I don't see you again before Thursday, you might have touched on that about playing hard. What do you want to see from you as a head coach, your coaching staff, and the players? What do you want to get out of that exhibition game Thursday?
I think we're just continuing to build our team chemistry on the floor and a better sense of time and space, where the ball needs to go, when it needs to get there, how quickly can you play and still be effective, be very, very efficient. In that game, I really want to see them get after it defensively. I want to see our defense improve. I think our offense is ahead of our defense right now, which is a little bit reverse the way it should be. And so I think we need to get a little bit better defensively as a unit. I think we've made some great strides individually, defensively, but I think we need better team defense.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Coach.